So when did you get in car sales?
I started last year, I think last February.
And what caused you to get in that industry?
So I was a maintenance guy at a hotel room, and it was my manager's, I think like 10 years with the company
Okay.
anniversary, and they gave him a little coupon for him and his wife to go to the hotel's restaurant, but they couldn't order booze for free.
Okay.
And it's like, thank you for 10 years of service. And this is a guy that was making a couple bucks an hour more than me. Not really much to show for it, you know.
Okay, so you
Good
got
guy,
into car
good guy,
sales.
but it was just like, fuck, you know, my life is so comfortable that, you
Yeah.
know, I could just be this guy. You know, I had
Okay.
everything I needed. I could pay my bills. I could go train at the gym and
Okay.
hang out with my girlfriend, but I wasn't doing anything with my life. So I was like, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. So you got into car sales, and walk me through when you came to work for them. What did your sales training consist of?
Not a whole lot, really. You know,
Okay.
like initially the you know, even where I'm at now, the first lot I was at, a couple guys just kind of followed me around
Okay.
while I was talking to customers. It's kind of like the blind leading the blind. We
Okay.
want like
I
some
think
motivation, like
Christ said,
YouTube
if the blind
videos.
lead, yeah, I think if Christ said, if the blind lead the blind, shall they not both fall into the ditch? Good quote.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Okay. And so with that way of training,
Mhm.
where did your income go to? Where did you go to that's selling that way?
You know, at that store, I got up to 5K a month.
Okay. So you got up to $5,000 a month. And then I
Mhm.
think last year you said because of the pandemic and there might have been 6 cars on your lot
Yeah.
and 6 cars in the entire town,
Mhm.
you got up to
Well,
how much per month?
I was doing like averaging 10K a month. You know, part of it wasn't just the pandemic. Like I have a pretty relentless work ethic.
Okay. So you
And
worked hard. Okay.
yeah, and I got creative. And you know, I was, you know, applying social media training that I had learned at other places.
Okay. Great.
And
That's good.
yeah, you know, so like I was doing more than what other people who were new in the industry at that time were doing because I worked harder, you know,
Okay.
and but I had to put in so many hours, man. It's
So you
crazy.
had to put in a ton of hours just to make 10 grand a month. So a lot of people would just stop there like, man, I know everything about selling. I'm making 120,000 a year. I'm the king of the world. What caused you to be like, you know what? Something I'm missing. Like, I need to acquire more skills. I need to make more money. What caused that little thing in your mind?
So something interesting happened towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
Fed starts raising rates. You know, things aren't so much as a of a seller's market where it's like, hey man, if you don't like it, it's not a big deal. Call me if you change your mind. You know, like, but if not, you really need to sign here because somebody's going to buy it. And went from that to
Prospects don't fall for that anymore as much, right?
yeah, exactly. No, and it's like I'm not saying it's a buyer's market in the car industry. It's just kind of the car industry is weird, man. But you know, it's I'd say it's definitely whoever is whoever holds the rapport and the respect in the situation holds the keys to the castle of the sale, so to speak. And you know, I've gone from somebody who it's like everything was so easy for me that I just kind of expected things to happen. So when things didn't go my way, I started getting, you know, feeling desperate because I didn't know what was going on.
Because you're like, okay, my income's going down, getting harder to sell. Prospects, you know, I can't just use a couple questions and they're just like, oh my gosh, somebody else is going to buy the car. I better buy it. It's not working as well now. I got to change. And then how did you find us?
I think it was like ads, man. And you know, like part of it was like, you know, I see ads for gurus all the time.
Yeah.
You know, first time I saw you, I was like, all right, it's just another guy. And then I would see you every day on my feed, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, dude, this guy's got revenue because his ads are like relentless, dude. You know, he's just out there, you know, like
we're pretty much everywhere.
Okay, this dude's got income, he's got revenue, he probably knows how to sell something. And then
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think I've like baby stepped my way up your program.
Okay. So you got into like our advanced NEPQ 3.0 and you started.
I bought the black book initially, but
okay. So you got like the little basic black book with some few questions. We don't teach you much there.
It was just confusing. And I was like, what the hell am I looking at?
Well, it's just a bunch of blanket questions, but you don't know how to use them, when to use them, why you're using them. You don't know how to make them industry specific. They're generic, right? We train every industry on the planet. You know, we can't have 158 different black books.
Yeah, it's like trying to learn English by reading the dictionary.
Yeah, exactly. So you get into our advanced NEPQ 3.0 program where you got the 37-hour portal virtual training platform with me, and then you got all the group training calls every week with us and our sales trainers. So you started learning those skills. And how did it start to change for you? Like, what did you notice was going on in your prospects when you started learning NEPQ and applying it?
So I'll talk about, internally for me. Sales is less of a struggle.
Yeah.
And it started being like, I'm not having to, it's like before it felt as if I'm having to posture and kind of argue and debate people.
Yeah. What was that do? What does that do to your mind when you have to go through that day in and day out?
Lost sleep.
Yeah.
Fear, anxiety, stuff like that.
Yeah. Hard way to live. All right. So selling became more comfortable for you. But what did you notice from your prospects? How did they start to view you? How did they start to treat you?
A lot better. I feel like I've gotten people to open up more about stuff. In the past 2 days, I mean, car salesmen are just stereotypically untrustworthy, and it's something that you would never want to tell a car salesman. Like your grandpa would probably get mad at you for telling a car salesman that your car is burning oil. And I've had 2 prospects tell me that their car is drinking a quart of oil every 2 months.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. And I really didn't have to work to get that information out of them.
Yeah.
And normally that's something.
So what you've learned how to do is disarm your prospects where they've let their guard down and they start to open up emotionally to you and tell you what's really going on.
Exactly.
And is it easier to sell when your prospect lets their guard down?
Yeah. Because I feel like once I've gotten to that place where I can get an accurate picture of what's going on, and I can go and grab something for them, show it to them, and just be, like, hey, this lines up here to what you said, and here and here, here to here. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think it's worth taking it for a drive? Yeah. And normally I'm like, hey, get the keys. I used to sit them up in the front seat, turn the car on for them, put it in drive, and say, all right, let's go. And
the assumptive close. Yeah.
Exactly.
And when you did that, some people would go for that, but what would other people do?
Panic.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not ready for that. I'm just still looking around. Triggering sales resistance.
Yeah, exactly.
The way you asked it now, like, would it make sense to go on a test drive to see if this would work for you guys? It's like you're asking permission. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Of course I want to drive it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just how we word that. It's our tone and how we ask it. Yeah. And plus you've learned how to disarm them. If you don't know how to disarm them, they've got their guard up and you try to do something, they're going to go into fight or flight mode. Right. Yeah. All right. So
another thing I've noticed is sorry to interrupt you there, but my style of selling before was very much like, I'm going to go and learn how to be your best friend really fast and maintain that for, a 2 to 3 hour period. And it's like, excuse me, but it's fucking exhausting, man. It's like, when you're waiting, anybody's ever bought a car, you're waiting for finance, and I'm trying to keep people entertained and laughing and all that. And it's none of it's genuine.
Well, and how do most of your prospects know that?
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like, they know what you're trying to do. You might as well just saying, hey, I'm just trying to get you to like me so you buy the car for me. Because that's how they interpret most of that, unless it's a lay down.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You're starting to learn. Good. All right. Let's give the folks some golden nuggets. All right. What's one good connection question that you've learned going through the training that you've noticed really causes your prospect to kind of let their guard down and start to open up? Just give us an example.
So I do a lot of Facebook Marketplace ads for cars, and I think a lot of people just scroll through there and click buttons, but there's a lot of people who are very serious buyers. Last month I actually made $8,000 just off of Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
But people hit you with, is this interested, or is this still available? And then what I'll do, I used to send them a video of me talking about the car. Text me your number.
Yeah.
Which it works with some people who are lay downs are very interested. But what I do now is I just say, hey, the car's available. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah.
Because I know what the questions are probably going to be. And it's like, it's like I get to play the black pieces in chess right there.
Yeah.
And like, but I'm getting them to want to play.
You're learning how to play chess while all these other salespeople in the industry are still playing checkers. That's the difference.
It's like Twister, bro.
Good point. All right. So, yeah. And one good thing that you can do, because, a lot of car salespeople, especially in even retail, what's one of the biggest objections that car salespeople get, right? The prospect rolls into the dealership and the salesperson says, "Hey, how can I help you?" And what do most prospects say at that point?
I'm just looking.
Just looking.
Yeah.
So a really good technique that we train your industry and any retail industry as well, because we want to prevent that objection from happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell them the objection.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if you've heard me train on that. Okay. So you're already using it. Okay. That's good.
I've implemented it and got it to a signature on paper, I think 3 times just based on that.
So what you want, so what you want to do is like, hey, welcome into the dealership today. Are you guys just out looking around? Yeah, we're looking. Oh, okay. And do you know what you're possibly looking for? See how I slowed down my tone there. You don't want to say, do you know what you're looking for? Okay. Because you're going to get that's a knee-jerk question. You're going to get a knee-jerk reaction. But notice how I gave them the objection.
Yep.
Hey, welcome to the dealership today. Are you guys just out looking around? Yeah. And they agree. Yeah. Oh, okay. And do you know what you're possibly looking for? Notice how I neutralized that. Well, we might be looking for, and then they open up. See what we're doing? Okay, so you've learned that. All right, good. All right, so there's other connection questions you have to ask for your industry, but we don't have time to go through all that. There's probably about 3 more, so you want to ask. What's a good situation question you're now asking as well?
Are you maybe replacing a vehicle? Because that gives me an idea. That's kind of a roundabout way of asking, what kind of car do you drive? Because if I'm not quite there with them trust wise to start asking about their car, they ghost me kind of, at least over Messenger. But I ask like, hey, would you guys maybe be replacing a vehicle? And they'd be like, no, I'm just looking for this truck because I need to pull my trailer.
Okay, that's good. Now there's other situation questions you've got to ask, and one of the situation questions. Oh, what type of vehicle do you drive now?
Yeah.
Oh, a Honda. Okay, are you looking to possibly replace that or get something else? It's another way to relanguage that. What you did is good, but you can also relanguage that. Now, there's other situation questions that have to ask after that. What's a good problem awareness question you've learned how to ask? Because there's several for your industry that we use to get them to start opening up about why they're even looking in the first place or what their real problem is.
So I always ask, do you like your, Suburban? And they'll be like, yeah. And they'll be like, well, seems like things are going pretty good. What brought you in? What's got you, messaging me about a new one? And then they'll tell me a problem because there's like 2 truths, as you always say.
Yeah. And so with that car in the situation was, oh, you guys drive a Honda. How long have you had the Honda for? Oh, for 5 years. And then I'm going to use that when I come back in a problem is, okay, so you've been driving the Honda because that's a fairly decent car the last 5 years. Do you like the car you've been using, or do you like the car you have? When you verbal pause there, it typically will open them up more than if you like, do you like how things are going with the car? Because then you're going to get more knee-jerk reaction. But the 2 truths is really good. Okay, so help me understand. You want to ask that skeptically. Help me understand. To me, it sounds like things are going fairly well with what you're already driving. What's the, is there anything you would, what's the main reason why you're possibly looking for something else rather than just keeping the Honda? Well, the reason why I'm looking is because, and then they start to build the gap, right? Yeah. Now, there's other problem awareness questions you have to ask after that, but that's a good one. What about a solution awareness question? Like, actually, no, let me give you another example. So when they tell you a problem, rather than you just going to the next question on your sales structure, how do you clarify and probe to get them to expand on what they don't like? What do you do? What's question?
This I definitely need to implement more, but I guess what's that like? Or like, is that affecting you guys?
Yeah.
Questions like that.
Yeah, it depends on what they bring up, the context there.
Yeah.
But if they say, well, the reason why we're looking is because we want to get, would anybody say, oh, we want to get better gas mileage? I have no idea. Well, give me a problem why somebody would say the reason why I'm looking is because of what?
Most people, where I'm at, out of warranty, or like they see new features on the TV, or I'd like to think I specialize in diesels, and people, buy those for every reason from their ego to needing to tow something.
Okay, but having the diesel truck, why so important to you now? See how my tone shifted to more of a concern tone?
Yeah.
Okay, but having that type of truck, why is so important to you now? Just so I understand. Well, the reason why is because I need to start towing and like see they're starting to build a gap, right? That's just a probing question, right? You'll learn that in the advanced inner circle for sure. What about a solution awareness question? Like, what's one good solution awareness question you ask to get them to like see what their future is going to look like once they have this new car?
What would you change about your car if you could?
Yeah.
I asked that in a call earlier today. Lady, talking about her Subaru, she's got to, burning quart of oil every 2 months. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, I definitely want something more reliable. I'm tired of paying for all these repairs.
Yeah.
Like I'm having to borrow money from family to fix the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
And she
And
said,
what
well,
type of you sell, like Ram, or what's your brand you sell? Or is it-
Chevy and Cadillac, and then used cars. So
let's
also,
just say Cadillac. Let's say they're wanting to switch from Subaru to Cadillac. One good solution awareness question you use, you'll learn this the advanced inner circle, because I know you just joined it. You haven't even been on, I think you just joined like a couple of days ago or something.
yeah.
So what you want to do is like, okay, but besides, having a vehicle that doesn't have the repair issues, how do you see this benefiting you the most though? Well, the reason why I like it as well is because it has this and it has that, and that builds even more of a gap, right? Gets them to feel what the future is going to look like once they're driving this new Cadillac, right? That's one example. There's several other solution awareness questions you want to ask, but that's one that we'll use there. What about a consequence question? What type of consequence question have you learned to ask to kind of get them to see what the consequences are if they don't do anything?
All right. One I asked the other day was, well, what's riskier for you? Losing equity that you have right now while your car is running and trading it in while interest rates are, not ideal, or waiting. And, if that car breaks down, the only equity you have is, it's the price of steel. What's riskier for you?
Which is more risky? Okay, that's a good either or question. That's a way to ask a consequence question. I might say, let's say if their car kept breaking down, and let's say the problem was their car was breaking down, and you find out that they've been late for work several times because the car keeps breaking down, and they're worried they might get fired. Let's say that was a problem. I'm just making something up. Okay, but what happens if you don't do anything about this and your Subaru keeps breaking down? Like, what happens to your job at that point? See, I'm lowering, I'm going into my concern tone. Oh my gosh, that would be horrible. Okay, so time to make a change possibly. Okay, all right, good. Now we don't have time to go through like how you're presenting, going over like what it does and everything. What's a good commitment question? A good commitment question you've learned to help them commit to take the next step and purchase the car?
So midway through the test drive, actually, probably like on the way back, I asked them this question, and it's like, hey, driving like this every day, how's that feel to you? And then
how do they typically respond?
There's a silence, and then they're like, I really like this car, or I like it, or
what parts of the way it drives do you like the most? Yeah. It's another
Or
fault.
the other answer I've only gotten one person, because usually I'm good at landing people where they want to be.
Yeah.
But that one lady was like, I love everything about it, but I just hate the way that the steering wheel, it's too hard for me to drive. And I was like, okay, well, we're on the wrong car, like
I would have asked a clarifying question. How do you mean it's too hard for you to drive?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what that means. Ask that first before you go. Because sometimes they might say something like, oh, well, all we have to do is just lower it down for you.
Yeah.
Maybe we just had it too high.
No, I asked a few of those, and it's like she was saying it's an arm workout for her to try to turn it. And I was like,
okay. So you're wanting something that just easier and more fluid then. Okay. In that case, we could try this car because it's more fluid. That help you more? Okay, good. Perfect. All right. We don't have time to go through anything else. Nate, any last words of advice? Well, I have to ask this question. Are you single or married, dude?
I have a partner. I live with her. We've been together for like 2 years.
Okay. So almost the same, girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
How does she feel about you investing in advanced skills now and making 25 grand a month instead of making 7 grand a month?
Well, I'm hoping there's some congruency with the prospects I attract, not saying that they need to talk to their partner about this sort of thing, because I didn't even ask.
Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you need to go ask her if you should get more skills so you could make more money for her?
Because I know that I work harder than 90% of the people that I've met in my industry.
Yeah.
And I'm an intelligent person. I'm always going to find a way to make it out, and we've never, had the lights to go out on us.
Yeah. I mean, because you ever heard of that, the saying, heavy is the hand that wears the crown?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because whose responsibility is it for you to make more money for your family?
Oh, it's mine. 100%. Yeah.
So when we view it that way, it's an easy no-brainer. Hey, I've got to acquire more advanced skills if I want to sell more to make more money. Because if I keep saying the same things I am, asking the same questions, I keep making the same money.
Exactly.
Nothing changes, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, is your life a little bit different now that you're making 25 grand a month rather than 7?
Yeah, definitely. It is, I mean, I can tell you the first time when I invested in 3.0,
yeah,
it was like, oh crap, $1,000 for 3 months. That's like, I was really uncomfortable about that, but I was like, I know I need to do this because something's got to change. I can almost feel like I'm on my way out.
Yeah. Because where would you be now had you not invested in the training?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, last night I was, Brian Choi, the guy who signed me up, he's in Korea in a different time zone. And I'm like messaging him like, hey, dude, my direct deposit hit. I need you to charge my card right now. I don't want to be the 16th guy to try to set up for, inner circle.
Oh, yeah, because we cap it every month. We only allow a certain amount of people in it every month right now because we already had hundreds in it. So we had to cap it really small for the next 6 months to 12 months for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well done, everybody. Hey, you want to start acquiring skills like Nate has and really tens of thousands of our clients now. I think we have 13,000, I don't know, 13,400 some testimonials. I lose track now in the last couple of years. You want to acquire those skills for your industry because I can assure you we are training people in your industry that are making what he's talking about every single day and more. So you want to start making your first 10 grand a month you sell, your first 15, your first 20 every single month, your first 25 grand a month like Nate is learning. He just got into advanced inner circle. That's going to take him to 30 grand a month. Then he'll be at 35. Then he'll be at 40. And then you'll be 50 plus because we have people in your industry that are already making 50,000 plus now that they're advanced inner circle or they graduated the program and are making it now. So you want to acquire those type of skills in your industry, then message me directly right now. If you're on the Facebook group, LinkedIn, my Facebook business page, message me directly right now. Either myself or someone on our team will message you back some details about how you can get into the training. We have many different training programs. We don't just have one. We have 26 versions. And though once the team member that you book with finds out where you're at right now, what you're making compared to where you want to be, and what you're saying and not asking that's causing your prospects to run the other way, not buy from you, then we know which program to put you in to get you the highest return the quickest, like Nate. All right. So message me directly right now. Thanks so much, Nate. Enjoy your time. Let us know when you come down to Scottsdale, Phoenix area. You have to stop by the office. Okay.
Dude. Yeah, I'd love to.
Anytime, brother. I got a book right up here. I'll sign for you.
Fucking hey, man. Have a good day. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thanks, everybody. We'll see everybody soon.